I'm standing in a place that has the smallest population in Australia, and yet it feels the effects of the 7 billion people around the world. And it's an amazing place.
The Finke River, Central Australia, courses through one of the hottest places on Earth. And it's getting hotter. That's the reason I'm here, because it's so staggeringly different from the other rivers I've visited. I've been to a city river that's full of rubbish, and a wilderness river full of runoff from a mine. Badness was obvious. The remarkable thing about the Finke is that it's considered the oldest river in the world, coursing through the landscape for hundreds of millions of years. It's been a river supporting life for a remarkable stretch of time. And that very thing, all of a sudden, is at risk of rapid change.
I never thought I'd be sitting in the middle of the desert about to descend a river. There's no water in it. I can't paddle it, so I'm going to run the oldest river in the world. This is the first waterhole of the Finke River. It's kind of nice that it's a tourist attraction. You know, people are crawling out of the rocks all over the place. This is fantastic. People are coming to see these places. And that's what I'm here for too, to come and see this place and have an experience here. These folks are gathering up stories and photos and experiences, and they pass it on to someone. Which is what's been happening here for tens of thousands of years. So we've got this great fella Benji along. He's going to be our guide, a bit of a mentor. I'll see him at various stages throughout the run. We go through his country for the first 40 or 50 kilometres. And he's been here his whole life, of course. And then he's 35 years of a big long line of Benjis like him.
It's not just all about the kangaroo tail. It's a fact is like when every families go out, like on the Finke River and have feed and that, they tell stories, you know, about the dream time and all this.
The Finke River starts in the dead centre of Australia, thousands of kilometres from the edge of the continent. My plan is to run the first 100 kilometres of the Finke over 3 days. I've stripped back my gear and I'm fully self-supported. The key theme for the run is to drink only from the waterholes or riverbed of the Finke. Much like Benji's family have done for an awfully long time, the water I find will dictate what I can or can't do here.
It'll be nice to stop along the way and to chat with you and to hear some stories and slow down. I'm always in a hurry, so I feel compelled to be slower up here because I feel like I feel like being slower. Yeah.
At the end of a journey, you will fully understand. You know, it's like bit of bad, middle, good. See the difference, how the country changed. But like I said, you know, I am connected with the Finke River.
The pins come out.
Yeah. But what I'll do something tomorrow. Well, like when we all down near the water, I want to do the welcome to country. But other people do smoking ceremony, but I prefer water, you know.
Okay.
Are you happy for us to film that?
Yeah. Of course, yeah. For me and my family, we want people to know, you know, how proud we are of the Finke River.
Rivers are the great endpoint for how healthy land is, which is representative of how healthy humans are or how we're treating it.
Now this is a ephemeral river, so it only runs during massive flood events anyway, which is not often. So it's mostly a dry river. But it's also where most of the life kind of comes to. It's got water holes all through it. This is a trip about water. And it's very cool that for the most part I will run a big chunk of this river and not swim it or paddle it or whatever. I've got to remember to look around and take in this landscape. It's just staggering.
The land that we are sitting on now is Western Islander country. My ancestors lived all along in the back behind these ranges. And this area used to be just fishing country. Yeah. So, but to this day we still live by the river. You're going to be swimming across while we meet you on the other side.
She's cold, baby! Oh yeah! That sun feels good. Once again, my love and loathing of the sun starts today. Benji said I should light a fire on this side and thaw out. He's not half wrong. I'm a blow in here, I'm a transient. And it kind of intimidates me. The size of this landscape, the stillness, the silence, the fact that I don't know a lot of the bird calls. It's not yet a bad river. It's got some problems. There's grazing, salinity, some weeds all over the joint. I didn't know that this grass is not supposed to be here, this one. Benji was saying last night it's just taken over all the native grasses. What survives here is a product of only the hardiest things that can survive. It gets, on average, 20 days of rain here, and they're just bits and bobs. Only sign of other things, obvious life, other than the birds chirping and the insects buzzing, is lots of cow shit and horse shit. So, wild cows and wild brumbies in here apparently. What a billabong. Classic inland Australia. You beauty, they're just magic. I didn't think there'd be this much water. You know, there's been water on and off now for 10 k's or so.
February, yeah, February we had good rain, but before that we just didn't have much. It's like sort of 2-year drought.
It is true that you can get used to the heat. You can talk yourself into it and succumb. You can be practical with how you go about life, using nights and mornings when it's cool. And today isn't even hot, it's winter here. But even now, when I'm in it and I can't hide, it creeps up on you and accumulates. In 2013, the Australian government added a new colour to its heat index. It's this frightening colour purple, representing 50 to 54 degrees Celsius. Temperatures that until then had never been recorded or backdated through history. And it was that colour purple and the graph that led me here in the first place. Hey, big bull, big bull. Ooh, mama. It's a big boy. He's a ginger too. And there's a big gum coming up. It's magnificent. And it's been here for a bloody long time. Look at this. What a portal to history. Kind of tangible history too, because a rock is so ancient, millions of years old, whereas this, you know, I can fathom a bit more human history with this one. horse. I was just saying I like the look of this waterhole. Another spot to put the billy in for tea, but alas.
With the water holes, we're worried about those. And when the water starts drying, the animals just die in there. And we can't swim in there because it's still poison.
Running a riverbed feels like a grand mistake. As if I'm running along a beach in the moments before a tsunami rolls in. Or walking through Times Square without a single other person, like Tom Cruise in Vanilla Sky. It's a provocative experience because everything looks and feels like a river, but with the remarkable absence of water. The very thing that you think makes a river. It's well into the afternoon now. I don't think I'll crack 30 k's today. Benji's going to do a welcome to country or welcome to his country. Bloody good looking waterhole. Beautiful.
This here is called Nyamipata, and this water has never been dried. You know, it's a permanent spring. There's like a little cave system underneath. That's where the water comes out of. We'll just wash our face, wash our hand. Yeah, just to welcome him over here.
It was nice to be on Benji's true homelands, where he grew up, learnt to fish and swim by the banks of the Finke. He tells me of another waterhole a few kilometres downriver, which sounded perfect for a solo camp. And I'll tell you what, making camp at the end of a physical day is one of my great pleasures in life. Look at this. I'm going to make myself a litre of tea. So yeah, these are what I've bought. Sugar, tea, jam, 1 kilogram of flour for damper. That's next. I'd make 3 or 4 dampers a day, which was another way to force my hand of being reliant on the Finke. Without water, a bag of flour is useless. If it looks like I've never done it in a lid of a pot before, because I haven't. And the trick is to slow cook. Oh, coming along beautifully. That's a great little loaf. Easy, Bodie. Take 1 obnoxious knife, 1 decent lashing of strawberry jam, lick said knife. Didn't bring pegs. And here's bed. A bivvy without a pole.
Well, this is very pleasant, laying on the sandy bank of the Finke River, looking directly into the sky. That's fantastic.
So I've been up now almost 2 hours, and the whole morning's just about getting out of here. Boiling 2 billies and then cooling them before I can put them in a flask takes bloody ages. It's kind of good, you know, that for a bloke who always wants to keep going, you put these overlays to yourself, because I could get water from the crew, I could get food from the crew, I could do this really lightweight. But then you just blast through the country. Really slows me down.
Day 2 on the Finke. I'm in a dual state of awareness. Maybe the Finke water in my cups of tea and my bread start to soak in. That's a good metaphor for actually being here, taking on the cells of the place that I'm passing through. Whoa, that's a big pile of male horse shit. I think male. I think the stallions always crap in the same place to mark their territory. I don't know what the lifespan of a horse out here is, but I can't imagine it to be very old. Bloody grim, really, poor bastards.
On the outskirts of Hermannsburg, I visit the original home of Albert Namatjira.
I suppose he'd be your most famous Aboriginal artist. And the strange thing is, he's famous for painting in a Western way. He was a watercolourist.
I've known Namatjira's work my whole life, having seen a small print of his tacked into a nook of my dad's studio. And my dad, who's an artist, always talked about him. In fact, he painted like him at times.
Yeah, Dad's painted the Finke River a bunch of times. He's seen it in flood. And Albert Namatjira's probably got a lot to do with it.
Albert's life is one of the reasons I knew about the Finke River and the town of Hermannsburg.
Hermannsburg, the township is off to my left. Yeah, this place has got the most at stake of any settlement on the Finke. It's the largest on the Finke. Their bores, their water holes, they need them to survive.
The great contradiction with this adventure is that I'm here in the first place. Me and 4 crew flying in, driving about the desert, getting bogged, while I run around trying to cook up a story. Folks might say I could have told the story of the Finke without being here, which is true. But having lived a life of experiences, which become my knowledge and informs how I tell stories, there is a big difference between a river on a map and a river I've met.
And my plan is to sort of spend the next hour, 90 minutes here making bread and water and just having R&R during that sort of middle hour or two of the day.
For a bloke who's pretty good at cooking damper, it was looking like I'd overdone it. Which was a real shame because I'd asked Benji and his great uncle Stuart to share the damper with me. It was like eating rocks.
You reckon it's getting hotter?
It is getting hotter now, yeah.
Yep.
And we're afraid that this year the summer's going to be really, really hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come in, yeah.
This summer, yeah. So we're just going to try to be prepared.
We never used to wear shoes. Nah.
How old were you when you had your first pair of shoes?
I was about 12.
12. I've got a daughter who's 2 years old and we had shoes on her before she could even walk, which I wondered why we did. 6 months before.
Running water.
That's good, we've got reception out here.
Running water, pingilan. Why you love them? Pingibalam. When you're again, love my
So this is your language?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Western Ireland.
We're starting to get into this red gorged country. And this is where they've dated it to be the oldest river in the world because the river outdates the uplifted mountains either side of it. It's usually the other way around, that water runs through a landscape and cuts into it over time. The mountains have grown around the river. It's remarkable.
You should see the place when after a big rain. The people all the way on the side of the river to watch them. the mighty Finke River flow.
The hotter this place gets, the more of the landscape evaporates. Scientists predict that it will actually create bigger and wetter storm events, but they'll be less frequent. As I make my way down this river, it's starting to dawn on me that people like me, billions of us, all over the world, make choices. And those choices in the coming years will affect what lives and dies here. Now, I'm not religious, but that's a very godly thing to think, that our actions as a collective dictates life everywhere. Oh, it is, it's electric. I'll be damned, it's an electric fence.
The river for the last 10 k's has been magnificent. I like the fact that I'm thirsty all the time. Everything is about water. You obsess about water when you do journeys, in the heat too. It makes me think about the early explorers. It makes me think how the Aboriginal people constantly evolved around water. Culture is built on water.
Benji tells me about a great sandy beach and waterhole for my next solo camp. As the next 20 k's is inaccessible by vehicle, I'd see the crew tomorrow for lunch. When you get to the bottom of a big red cliff, Benji had said, you're there. My decision to be alone was pretty simple. I'm a new parent in the busiest phase of my life, and I'm never alone. And it's alone when I do my best thinking.
Grainy bits and all. Sugary. Oh.
It's nights like tonight where you realise just how bloody lucky you are. To have places like this where you can go and get perspective on the world.
Bloody hell, Bodie, that's a good one, mate. It's freaking hot. I'd buy that. I'd go into a store and say, yep, I'll have one of them.
Oh yeah. Pancake sky. A very pleasing sky for a day that's going to be pretty warm. Giant big hunks of rust iron coloured rock. Just brilliant.
If you go along by yourself, just feel it. Listen to the animal, listen to the spirit, even the rocks, you know. When we die, we go back to the land. So this is why we want to protect not only the land, but Finke River. For me, knowing that, you know, they still live on here, the Finke River is still alive.
I feel like this is the sort of Finke I came looking for, with the gorges and the colour spectrum
and the big river red gums and the bird life. I've hit flow state in a river that's not really flowing. The older I get, the more I've come to question the uselessness of my running. Useless if it doesn't give my mind as much of a workout as my legs. 10 years ago, I would have gone faster and further, and with less agenda other than my selfish search for an existential self. Keep it personal and simple. But there is nothing simple about this river and its people. As I listen to Benji and Stuart, I hear a lot of tragedy and yet resilience to their story.
His brother is the man on the $2 coin.
The first Arunda to be baptised.
Yeah.
14 years of age, 1887.
Yeah. So that's my that's his mother's father. So,
I'm just looking for similarities. Similar eyes, eh? A common thread is always water. They talk about this river like they talk about a family member. Think about that. It's a hell of a premise.
And the Finke River here, like this is where you run through the Finke, through this chief of the Rain Man, and then the running waters country, and that, this is how the connection for us.
Even the fact he's written in Arunda and sent it off to Germany.
German.
Yep.
Be careful.
Yeah, okay, mate.
Yeah?
That's my secret talent, protecting cameras when I fall.
With the camera. And the camera is with the camera.
Looking through the lens.
I do that once a film. At least twice, maybe.
It's not only one family group's river. There are all the locals from Alice Springs, the tourists. They love coming out here, being with people like you guys. That feeling, makes my soul and spirit happy.
So I find myself in the final furlong, second half of day 3, as the heat of the day starts to kick in. But the point is, having a conversation with Benji and Stuart on the bonnet of their car, is that it's really important to know the past so you can try and make a good future. When I saw that the temperatures out here were increasing, and it's happening in this short space of geological time, it's very abstract, unless you come out here and, I suppose, get an impression of what is heating up and what's at stake. Bird life is abundant. The scenery is it's what poets and writers, it's their muse. This is a landscape that is remarkable. This is the equivalent of paddling in the wake of a boat, running in the ruts of cars. But Brett, our intrepid cameraman, he's in very little at the moment. I've got to say, he looks pretty good. I don't know what's going on there, but I like it. The trouble with a film that's called Bad River is that I'm kind of on the back foot with the way I tell the story of it. The other rivers, very easily I can slip into a really negative mind frame of why have we done this? Why have we stuffed up the very thing that gives us life? But I can't do that with the Finke. This is a future bad river And we're kind of at the tip of the iceberg with it. Imagine being proud of a river. You're proud of something you don't own. You can't give it away or trade it or gain anything other than a feeling. You're proud of it because it exists. And somewhere along the way, you've come to realise its complexity and its health is a must. Benji and Stuart know this. It's not lost on me that my coastal life and global travel, stitched into heavy industries and an addiction to stuff, is the very reason this place is getting warmer. Monumental forces are at play. And it's intimidating because even for someone who's looking, I can't see the biggest threat to the oldest river in the world. And that's the trouble with climate change.